Hey guys, it's Matt Fielder with MJF Guide Service. Today is June the 2nd. Water level is 926.35. We've got a water temperature of about 70 degrees. I had a trip today and it was out of the dam. Up by the dam seems a little hit or miss depending on if you get wind or not. Today was kind of a high pressure day, so it was a little bit tougher on the bite, but we still got quite a few bites today. So up by the dam, some of the key baits that have been working for me is a 3.3 and a 3.8 Kitech. Now usually I throw a 2.8 Kitech, but it seems like lately the 3.3 and the 3.8 have been getting more bites for me. As we get here into the summer months, they seem to be biting this one just a touch better. I'll be getting out there, setting the boat in 25 foot, sometimes 20, throwing up between 10 and just scrubbing the bottom and getting bites anywhere from 10 foot all the way out to 20 foot. Occasionally, you'll have some slide out a little bit deeper, so don't be afraid to throw behind the boat a little bit. Out there 30 foot, 25 foot occasionally. Just kind of depends on the day. But for the most part, in that 10 to 18 foot range, setting the boat in 25 to 20. Another bait that's been working good for me out there is a drop shot. Now, especially on the gravel points with brush on them, I'm still dragging this along the bottom on a day like today, where early this morning for most of the day up until like 11:30 today, the wind really didn't get up. So, we throw a drop shot around, drag it on the bottom, throw it into brush piles, and you'll pick up some smallmouth and spotted bass doing that. It seems like the largemouth, you'll occasionally pick up a largemouth in those brush piles. But it seems like they're still scattered out. Maybe they're up in the bushes. So if you're a flipper, you can still flip some bushes, but it seems like you have to flip a ton of bushes for not a lot of reward. So it seems like if you want to get bites, get out on the points, and that's where you'll get the majority of your bites. Smallmouth, spotted bass, and you'll run into an occasional largemouth out there. Focusing in that 10 to 20 foot range, it seems to be right now on the drop shot as well. Another bait that I like throwing is this is a 7/16 Pee Wee football jig. Whatever your favorite color is, this one's in the PB&J color. I got a baby rage crawl on there, and I cut off the top two rungs to make it more compact. You can also throw a bigger jig right now, and you probably get some bigger bites. You'll get probably a fewer bites, but you will get some bigger bites doing that. Another bait that I like throwing around those brush piles out there, this is a Berkeley hitworm or a Zoom trick worm, whatever your favorite bait is, or a Magnum trick worm now. I'm throwing it on a shaky head around those brush piles, sometimes through them as well, and getting some bites that way. You just have to go through the baits, just cycle through them until you find one that's really, really working for you, and then stick with that for a little bit. If they quit biting it, pick up one of those other baits, and I'm sure you'll get some bites. Now, I do think that the bite away from the dam is better, meaning from the Kimberling City Bridge to the two rivers, the James and the White, especially the James, seems to be pretty good. The White is also good. A little bit less size in the White than I am in the James, but still getting a lot of bites up there. I'm throwing the same baits up there, but just like at the dam as well, I am still using my forward-facing sonar, but I've upsized the bait a little bit. This is a 4-inch Super Twitch by NetBait, and it's becoming one of my favorite summertime minnow shaking baits. It's got a little bit bigger profile. It has really good roll action, It seems like the smaller baits I'm not getting as many bites on. I'm still getting some bites, you know, on those 2.75 baits and the 3.5 inch baits. I am getting bites on them, just not as many as I was previously. As soon as I upsize the bait to this 4 inch, and even if you got a 4.5 or a 5 inch bait, it seems like they're committing a little bit better. So think about that when you're out there. Sometimes they're not necessarily suspended. So what you'll do is you might see like a little blip on the bottom, and then it'll just kind of disappear, or you don't see them. If you'll see like a little rough spot on the bottom, you'll throw the bait out there, let it fall to that rough spot, and then just work it over, and you'll see fish just, you know, rise up off the bottom, come up, grab the bait, and you got them hooked. But up the rivers, I've been implementing a 6XD in that 10 to 20 foot range and getting a lot of bites. Now, once you get the school fired up, you can throw whatever you want in there. You know, if you like throwing a football jig, if you like throwing, you know, a forward-facing sonar minnow bait, or if you fire them up with this, then you can follow up with the 6XD, and then your jig, your shaky head, a wobble head's been working up there, but they seem to be more schooled up in the rivers than by the dam right now. They seem to be a little bit more scattered. They are on the points by the dam, but they seem to be more schooled in the rivers than by the dam. There, you can throw this in Kimberling City a little bit too. Got a few bites in Kimberling City doing this. It just, those points seem to be a little bit wider, so they're not as concentrated. Now, when they turn the water on, when they generate, which they have been generating a little bit, just for the air conditioning, that's when the 6XD really comes into play. So watch your generation schedule, and that's the time you want to be on the water, because the fish will start munching. They'll turn that on. 30 minutes later, you may see a little bit more debris kind of pulling through the water, but you'll be throwing this 6XD and having a lot of fun. They're fresh out there, they're post-spawn, and they're ready to eat. So come into Modern Outdoor Tackle, get you some 6XDs or some DT20s, and have a blast. You know, a deep 6, a deep 300, those are really good baits. Some DD70, some of my favorite baits. Modern Outdoor Tackle's got all the stuff I'm throwing. Go in there. You know, if I'm in there, you know, ask me for some help. I'll be glad to help you. If one of the other guys is in there, I'll pass along this information to them and say you watched the fishing report, and hook you up with some of those baits, and they'll point you in the right direction. If you guys are coming down, you want to hire a guide or learn how to graph up some of these spots, or learn how to use your electronics or your forward-facing sonar, I'd love to take you out on the water. My phone number is 314-740-2017. My email is mfielder9@gmail.com. Call me up or head into Modern Outdoor Tackle and book a trip. I'd be happy to get you out in the water. So until next week, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I'd love to get you on the water. But until next week, if you get on the water, have a blast and catch some bass.